I'll do this. Here we go. Well, hi, welcome. Hey, Mandy, how are you? How are you?
Hey, Miss Tammy. I'm doing well.
I just want to welcome everybody once again to 10 Minutes of Tea with Tam. We have another episode. I have a brand new guest, and she is phenomenal. Her name is Amanda Pearson. She's a good friend of mine. At least I think she's a good friend of mine anyway. Um, and I brought Mandy on today because she does some things that most women probably want to do and don't even take a step forward to begin to do it. So we're going to begin with a few questions I have. But before we start, I want to say one thing. I want to welcome all my guests once again to 10 Minutes of Tea with Tam. It's the place where not what I say, but where my guests that will be spilling all the tea. And I am going to turn it over to Amanda Pearson. And I'm going to allow Amanda to introduce yourself, Mandy. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Amanda Pearson. I just turned 50 in January, on January 7th.
You said big.
I currently live in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, which is in Western Pennsylvania, but I came to know Miss Tammy probably in 2002 or 3. So I've known you for 20 years now, Miss Tammy, now that I think about it. I started working at Dauphin County Prison and met Elder Ryan Jackson and started coming to Fountain Gate back in 2002. And so I've known you for 20 years, Miss Tammy. It doesn't seem that long, but yes.
I just know Mandy. Mandy. Well,
Yes,
I do want to ask you something. Now that you have moved and you've started a beautiful life for yourself, tell us a little bit about your family. Tell us a little bit about where you're residing at now and what you're doing.
Well, I moved from back to the area back here in 2014 and to come back because my grand was getting older and my mom was sick and I didn't do it before my dad passed away and I kind of had to live with that. I don't want to say guilt, but there was some there thinking, should I have come back? What could I have done? And I told the Lord, God, if it's meant for me to come back, you'll open the door. So he did. And in the process, I got married. I moved back here in May. Actually, I met my boyfriend when I was living, well, my husband now, but I met him when I was living there in Hershey. And I moved back here. He moved back. God opened the door for us to, for him to get a job. And we got married and bought a home. And I'm just, as they say, living my best life.
Mandy says she's living her best life. But the reason why I chose Mandy to me, but the reason why I chose you is because I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this picture of this young lady in a football outfit. And I said, she's got this uniform on. I was like, wait, is Mandy playing ball? I said, I've got to dig a little deeper into this. And I know you love the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know, that was a thing for you. So I was wondering, I was like, let me find out. So as I got to scrolling, I read a little more and I was like, oh my God, this is hot. This is really awesome. She got to tell us about this. So tell us a little bit about your football career, as I say.
Okay. I believe that God gives us or grants us, and his word says that he give us the desires of our heart. Yeah. And as long as those desires are not contrary to the word of God. Right. So for years, I've always wanted to play. When I came up in high school as a teenager, girls weren't allowed to play at all. And so the closest I could get to the field was a cheerleader. So that's what I did. But I've always wanted to play. I've had uncles who played football. And I grew up with uncles around. And I had cousins who were boys and they all played. And, I'm just kind of like sitting the sideline. So I started my weight loss journey about 2 years ago, started swimming. And as you know, I was on a swim team and I did that. But I got down to about 90 pounds. And one day I was just sitting at my computer And I just felt the need to, let me see, I want to play football. What else is there for me to do?
Yeah.
And so I looked up and I searched here. I knew Harrisburg had a team years ago when I lived there. I think they had a team at some point. Um,
Oh yeah, they
and
did. I remember
they,
that.
yeah, they did.
Yeah,
And I never got a chance because the kids were little and all that kind of stuff. So now that my kids are grown and on their own, I figured it was a great time. So I reached out and I searched, and I didn't know Pittsburgh had a female team. So I contacted the coach. It's called the Pittsburgh Passion, and you can search us, Google us, Pittsburgh Passion, um, and look at our team and our roster and things like that.
hmm.
Um, but I reached out to the coach, and the day that I contacted her, ironically enough, was the first day of tryouts. So she didn't respond that day.
Hmm.
And so she got back with me and said, "Hey, we're tried out in September, went to the September tryouts, tried out, made the team, and the rest is pretty much history." Um, there's actually people older, and the girls range in age from early 20s to some even older than me.
Ooh,
Um, but
wow,
it
that's
was an
interesting.
opportunity, and God allowed me. And our coach is a Christian, and she believes in
Oh,
God.
that's
Um,
awesome.
and one of the things when I tried out and I told them about myself, I'm also an ordained reverend now, Miss Tammy. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew you were. So you're
Mhm.
pastoring?
Not pastoring. I'm the junior pastor of my church, but I'm not the official pastor. I'm
Okay,
over the youth.
so we can
Uh,
say your mother, your wife,
mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
your reverend, uh
Uh-huh.
you're even a travel agent.
I'm a travel agent.
Travel agent.
I'm the church conference call technician.
Uh-huh.
I'm the piano player. I'm the kitchen crew,
Don't you
and
say women can't do it
other
all, honey. Don't you
other other duties as assigned. But anyway, so we got back. So I tried out and I told the coach, and it was just a connection from the beginning. And one funny thing that happened. So while I would like to be all flashy and make the big plays, and you see the highlight reels and all that kind of stuff, I know I'm 50 and I'm not fast. So the coach asked me, she says, well, what position do you want to play? I said, Coach, one that does not require me to run and catch at
come
the
on.
same time
Come on.
because I'm too
Come on.
slow. I admit that, my shortcomings. Some people want to act like they're bigger and badder than what they really are. Coach, I'm slow. Now, hearing the footsteps behind me and got to hold the ball and run fast. That's not and catch it. Mm-mm. Now, if you're going to hand it to me and tell me to run as hard as I
Right.
can run hard, but I
I
can't run
got you.
fast. But so so I decided, and at 50, while my brain is still intact, me having the ability to retain and recall a lot of plays
Praise,
is
yeah.
is not so offense wouldn't work for me. So I just picked defense, and that's where I am. Uh, Unfortunately, I got hurt at practice, uh, and so I had a sprained knee. So I'm getting back from that and trying to recover from that to be
Come on
ready
now. Don't be let them
for
mess up the
for
bowl.
our.
What
I
we
know I
doing?
was so mad. I was so mad, but because it really was something that could have been avoided, but we're not going to talk about that. Um,
We're
but
not
at
even
any
bring that
rate,
up.
I'm my position is defensive tackle. I'm number 70 on the team.
Come
And
on.
really the rest is history. I go to practice, learning plays and gaps and holes
That's
and
right.
slants and routes and
I think I
all of
just
that.
love the fact that Mandy is out there playing ball. I'm like, you go, because there's always been a thing of mine. I always wanted to box, and I kept saying, boy, one day I want to box. I want to box.
Hmm.
And then I thought to myself, no, Lord, I don't think I really want to box. I think I just enjoy box, and I
Hmm.
just think about them hits.
Well, Miss Tammy, it's something that you would say that because once I started losing weight and before I thought about football,
Mhm.
um, I was looking at MMA,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and and I said it would be great to be able to hammer fist somebody over top the head legally and not go to jail.
That's
Uh,
right.
so I
You're
was
right.
thinking about
That's
that,
it.
and then I would just, I mean, for hours I would watch all kind of YouTube videos, Israel Adesanya and
Just
and
watching
Umar Usman or whatever his name is,
them.
and Ronda Rousey, she's a boxer, but
Oh yeah, like
Amanda Nunes, all of these MMA, and I'm like, I could do that, but then the reality set in. The minute they hit me, it's done.
the street fight. The street would be that came out, and I be done forgot
That's
I'm supposed to be
exactly right.
boxing.
That's exactly right. So I said, I better find something else. And swimming was always there because even before I moved back here, I was swimming there when I lived
Well,
in Hershey.
that's another thing. Can you tell them briefly about that, about your how you started swimming and
Well, it happened. What inspired me to really swim? In gym in high school, we always had a section that required us to swim. So when you went to my high school, even in elementary, not high school, but through elementary, middle, and high school, we always had a section of swimming in gym. And so I always liked the water. But when my father passed away, God told me, he died because he didn't take care of himself.
oh okay.
And I said, okay,
So,
because it was issues that he had that, with his kidneys and congestive heart failure, not eating right, high blood pressure, all of these things and come to find out my dad should have been on dialysis and we didn't know it. And he
oh,
refused dialysis because that's how, sick he was. But long story short, um, God told me, he died because he didn't take care of himself. And that's all I really needed was
yeah.
was my motivation to take
Jump
care of
started
myself.
everything, huh?
And I wasn't motivated to go to the gym and on the treadmill or lifting weights. The only thing I was motivated to do at 4 a.m. was swim.
Yeah. Oh,
And so I started, and I started out being able to do maybe 10 laps nonstop, which is 2 lengths of the pool.
oh, okay.
And the standard pools that I swim in is 25 yards or 75 feet. So it's up and back is 50 yards per lap. And you have 18 laps equals a mile. So I started out at 10 and was winded and had to take a break. And then I was able to progress,
Mhm.
so much so now I've swam for 2 hours and about 15 minutes straight.
Come on, come
Um,
on.
so yeah, I have
Woo!
headphones that I use, and that really helps because it does get boring. But
Mhm.
I get my playlist going, and I'm back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, but
So
it's so nice.
that's one thing that I'm motivated to do. I go to bed at 8 o'clock most nights, because I'm
Yeah.
up at 4:30.
Well,
I'm in
you
the
got them
pool,
early mornings. Yeah, you got
right,
you got to get
right,
to bed. But you
in
know
the
what?
pool by 5. So
We started our interview, and I missed my two little questions. I always wanted to
mhm.
throw two little questions in there just for fun,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I missed them at the beginning. And before we wrap up and end, I think I would throw
Mhm,
those two little questions
mhm,
out there. Now, the one question is just a would you rather, and
mhm,
that's just something lighthearted. The
mhm.
first question is: would you rather never eat watermelon ever again, or would you rather be forced to eat watermelon at every meal?
Um, I don't have to have watermelon. So, I would rather not eat it ever again.
Ever again? Would you say no
Mm-mm.
more ever again? I
To
have
be forced to eat it. And I tell you why, because I'm
especially
somewhat
every meal.
allergic. It makes my mouth itch.
Oh,
So I really don't eat it. I buy it because people
yeah.
here eat it, but I don't ever have to have it again.
I know that. She said,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's got to go. We ain't got to worry about
Mm-hmm.
that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have one, and it's not a would you rather question, but it's just something simply just to let people know a little bit about you. If
Mm-hmm.
you could go on vacation anywhere in the world and money was no object, where would you go?
On a cruise on
Mhm.
Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Sea, and I would have a royal suite.
Royal Suite. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And so you just love the cruises, and that since you are a travel agent, that's something big that you do. So you
Mm-hmm.
probably enjoy that the
Mm-hmm.
most. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. So how many have you been on so far?
Uh, I can tell you I have about almost 40 nights under my belt. So
Oh,
I've been on at least 7 or 8.
oh,
Um, can't remember exactly how many. I keep track of my nights because I'm a Crown and Anchor member. So
Oh.
I moved up to platinum status.
But Mandy, you know what? Like I said, I didn't want to monopolize your time, and it has been. I just wanted them to know a little bit about that football. It's the football for
Mhm.
me that really just
Mhm.
like, wow, she do all this stuff, and then she got time
Yeah.
to play football too. Like,
You
what
know,
you doing?
and I have 3 Zumba certifications too.
Oh, Jesus.
And I started a fitness class called Just Move
Mm-hmm.
here locally, but then when I started football, I started training for football and couldn't do my classes. But
Oh, okay.
it's just God told me to tell my people to just move. So
Just
if there's any takeaways from this time that we spent together, you know, while everybody may not be able to play football, our health is very important.
mm-hmm.
Taking care of ourselves. You know, Elder Andrea Jackson was my inspiration when I was
Yes,
there
yes,
because she
I
is
agree.
still going strong.
Yeah.
Um, but when I said,
Now,
God, what do you want me to do with these?
we do.
And
We find that to be. I have another young lady that one of the deacons at our church, and that's what she does. She has a health and wellness thing, and that's what it's basically on the same lines as what you were saying on those veins about just move, just keep moving. I don't care what you do,
yep,
how you do it,
yep,
especially
yep,
as being of color. You know,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what just move, live your best life,
mhm,
take the opportunity, do the things that you said, because age is not it shouldn't be a barrier to you living the life that God wants you to live. And He just doesn't want us to go to church and pray and fast all the time. He wants us to enjoy life.
right.
Um, and so do what you enjoy doing that lines up with the word. Don't go out.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Now, because before I leave, that's why I said my past interviews, I told some of the other young ladies, it is so ironic that every young woman or anybody that I interview, they always say that they heard from God or God spoke to them and said, start this and move forward. What do you think about? I mean, so far, I only had a few interviews, but so
Mhm,
far, everyone seems to have had this revelation or this intimate time with God where He's given them something, you know what I mean, to do or
mhm.
start or to get out there. What do you say to that?
I say that if I mean, and God, when you have a relationship with God,
Hmm.
He's going to talk to you if you listen. Sometimes we have a monologue where we're doing all the talking and God can't get a word in edgewise. And we go and we try to, tell God what we're going to do, but we
Right.
don't wait for instruction or wait to say, okay, God, what you want to say today? So I think everybody, if they listen, God tells them what to do
What direction and which way to go?
and which way to go.
All right.
If you
Well,
listen.
but you said you got to keep them hear from him first. So I
hmm
want to thank you once again, Mandy. This was
hmm
fun. I just wanted to do a little brief something. I know that you have other engagements, but once again, I just want to thank you for coming on here at Tea Time with Tam.
Th-
Yeah.
thank you. I don't
Tea.
have no tea, but thank you.
Could always have tea time with Tim. And I thank you once again. It was really nice, man. It was really fun, and I know that
Thank
you
you. I'm
go.
honored to be a guest. Thank you so
Now,
much.
do me a favor. If you have any websites or anything real quick before we go, if you like your travel agency or anything that you would like to put out there real quick.
Yes, my travel agents, it's Pearson Travel
Mhm.
dot IntelliTravel, INTELE travel.com, or you can email me at a Pearson Travel 73. That's a Pearson Pearson travel 73 at Gmail.
Oh, okay. So now, once again, thank you for joining me, Mandy. I'm
Thank you, Miss
delighted that you came
Tammy.
on. It was so much fun.
Thank you, thank you.
You have a good time and you
You
enjoy
too.
yourself. And watch
All right.
them tackles and them hits and stuff, girl. Don't be out to
All righty.
bye bye.
All righty. Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.